no two men walk the same path. Some glide along gold-paved roads, while others navigate the rugged stone paths. Winky Wright, a determined soul, made a bold choice to forego the Olympics and turn professional at just 18, embarking on a journey with little support and scant promotion. Undeterred, he took his talents abroad, honing his skills overseas in Europe. Without the luxury of strong management, Winky faced tougher opponents than most, pushing himself to the limit. In just his 4th year as a pro, he found himself in a ring with the Argentine legend, Julio Cesar Vargas, a tank amongst the light middleweight division at the time. This was Vargas' 11th title defense, and though Winky faced adversity, being knocked down several times, he showcased his resilience, winning rounds and finishing a fight on his feet. Remarkably, aside from his final belt, this was the only other time a boxer had managed to drop Winky. In the following 10 fights, Winky captured his first world title, defeating Bronco McCourt in a hard-fought split decision for the WBO Super Welterweight World title. After 4 defenses, Winky fought to a split draw against Harry Simon. This led to his first big opportunity in America, Fernando Vargas. This defeat, while disheartening for his record, only added to his mystique, making him an even more elusive target for other fighters, as he had proven capable of making elite opponents look vulnerable. After bouncing back with 2 decisive victories, Winky finally sees his moment of glory, dominating Robert Frazier for the vacant IBF title to become a 2-time Super Welterweight World Champion. With 4 successful title defenses under his belt, he was poised for one of his first major breakthroughs against a name that echoed in households across the nation. Sugar Shane Mosley exploded onto the boxing scene like a comet, racking up an astonishing 32 knockouts in his first 32 bouts. He carved out a legendary status in the lightweight division, reigning as champion with the perfect record of 8 fights and 8 finishes. The great Roy Jones Jr. himself hailed Mosley as the 2nd best lightweight of all time, trailing only behind the iconic Roberto Duran. As he ascended to the welterweight ranks, Mosley quickly established himself, setting the stage for a monumental clash with the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. In a fight that electrified fans, Mosley emerged victorious by unanimous decision, earning the coveted title of Ring Magazine's #1 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. However, the road wasn't without its bumps. A brief setback followed as he faced Vernon Forrest in back-to-back fights, suffering defeats that tested his resolve. But Mosley rebounded in style, claiming a controversial decision victory and a rematch against De La Hoya, reigniting his momentum. In a twist that left many stunned, Mosley turned on an eye-popping $11 million offer for a trilogy bout with De La Hoya, insisting that the purse should reflect his previous victories. When negotiations stalled, he opted instead for a fight with Winky Wright for $3 million, a matchup many viewed as a stepping stone towards a highly anticipated showdown with Felix Trinidad. Little did he know, this decision would lead him down a path filled with unexpected challenges and triumphs. Mosley was a dynamic boxer puncher, blessed with raw talent and devastating power, having finished 35 of his 39 fights by knockout. His speed was astonishing, and his ability to unleash rapid-fire combinations made him a true danger. Mosley was known for his aggressive style, aggressively pursuing opponents, breaking them down and looking to capitalize when they show signs of weakness. As the fight approached, experts agreed that Mosley needed to take the initiative against Wright. He had to force the action, drawing Winky into exchanges and leveraging his power to impose his will. Winky Wright, the larger of the 2 fighters, was a defensive counterpuncher, having spent his entire career at 154 pounds. Mosley had only dipped his toes in the division with 2 previous bouts. Winky was renowned for his impenetrable defense as a counterpuncher, but he had recently adopted a more aggressive approach since he was labeled boring. At the core of Winky's style was his high guard, a shield that allowed him to block and deflect incoming punches while working behind a long jab, arguably his most lethal weapon. Though his power was often deemed mediocre, He had proven time and again that he possessed a granite chin and remarkable durability. Winky wasn't the type to dazzle with flashy moves. Instead, he embodied discipline and assertiveness, making him a hard matchup for any style. The stage was set for a thrilling clash of styles, with Mosley already looking forward to a mega fight against Trinidad, and Winky needing a breakout fight to show the world he belonged at the top. As soon as the bell rang, both fighters surged into the center of the ring, eager to establish their dominance. Winky immediately began to work behind his jab, a fundamental tool in his arsenal, while Mosley let loose his explosive power. Winky's jab was crucial. It was a strategy to neutralize Mosley's blinding speed. By keeping the jab pumping, he aimed to create distance, denying Mosley the opportunity from launching his own offense. This tactical approach was essential, as it built layers of defense that Mosley would have to navigate. The outermost layer being the jab, while the innermost layer was Winky's high guard, a barrier that made it difficult for Mosley to find his target. With Winky's defense in place, Mosley was forced to shift his focus to the body, seeking openings where he could land his shots. When Mosley did manage to slip inside Winky's reach, Mosley sought to let his hands fly, hoping for one of his punches to find his home. However, Winky would catch Mosley between his punches, swiftly responding to the aggression that awaited him.
Personality, his temperament is to fire back when...
Mosley found himself under fire from all angles, caught in a whirlwind of punches that came from both outside and in. Despite entering the ring with a reputation as the bigger puncher, he struggled to land his shots. Winky's jab was a constant threat, keeping Mosley at bay and preventing him from finding his rhythm. Every time he attempted to close the distance, Winky's jab would disrupt his timing, forcing him to recover before he could unload his power. The challenge of closing range against Winky's tight defense made it increasingly difficult for Mosley to connect, further frustrating him. This minimized him to shoe shining to try to catch the judge's eye.
Round 3 on his elbows. Winky, but when Winky shoots his, he's shooting them up between the elbows and to the inside.
Right. Jim, I gotta tell you something. We always talk.
Mosley soon found himself on the back foot, unexpectedly shifting into a counterpunching role against Wright's assertiveness. He had a tendency of dipping hard to the outside of Winky's jab, only to be met by a swift left cross. This adjustment and strategy left Mosley struggling to regain control, as Winky capitalized on his movements.
He seems to have been in the first 3 rounds.
Hitting, and the fact that Mosley is standing right in front of him.
The 5th and 6th rounds were arguably Mosley's best moments in a fight. He began targeting Winky's body early on, and as Winky slowed his pace, Mosley seized the opportunity to work in the pocket. He started hammering right hooks around Winky's guard, cracking whatever small openings the guard offered. With little success using straight punches, Mosley shifted his focus to hooks, maneuvering around Winky's tight guard to make his mark.
Again and again over the top. Mosley coming back in, sweeping it from the side now, and it's worth Jim. The thousands and thousands of rounds of sparring. Could they have robbed him of his fitness? It was Mosley's best round. He landed 15 out of 35 power shots. And that left hook lands. Now up.
They say size doesn't matter, but in this case it certainly did. Mosley was used to his power dictating the pace of the fight, but Winky proved too sturdy to be pushed around. With his high guard, Winky leaned in, absorbed Mosley's punches, allowing him to hold his ground and stay in the pocket. This forced Mosley to fight him off while he struggled to penetrate Winky's guard. In the moments of recovery after Mosley let his shots go, Winky would seize the opportunity to assert his offense.
Hard left hand and a hard
Punches that Shane had been hitting with. If it had been the other way around, it would have been a knockout.
on the other hand.
Underdog in this fight.
50 like most boxing experts. But you get 3-to-1 odds if you bet on Winky.
Timing is often a true enemy of speed. Mosley had a habit of relying on arm punches to pin Winky's guard. However, Winky jabbed between Mosley's lazy jabs, effectively breaking his rhythm and preventing him from following up. Once Winky regained control of the fight, he began to walk down to bully Mosley. A puncher is at the weakest on the back foot, where he struggles to plant the feet for leverage, and Winky capitalized on this by applying constant pressure.
Left hand, and Mosley starts from forward to try to attack, but Wright takes advantage with 2 more right hands. Shane wants to answer, but Winky is target.
In rounds 9 and 10, Winky demonstrated just how devastating a jab can be when used effectively. His jab was the pawn that constantly pressed forward. Mosley fought tall, adopting a more square stance, with his hands positioned low, rendering him vulnerable. Winky kept his lead shoulder pointing at Mosley's chest, allowing him to shoot the straight shot down the middle. The lead hand, typically used for orthodox boxers to clog the southpaw's jamming lane, was noticeably absent from Mosley's defense, making his defense rely more on slips and head movement. With Mosley being more focused on how to work around Winky's guard, he couldn't get away from the jab, a jab that was closely followed by powerful left hands.
Star tonight, and he's putting on a tremendous performance too.
Solid little right hook inside, just busted Shane.
That was an advantage of those short right hooks as he get in. See that?
Winky went on to dominate the remainder of the fight, with the exception of the 12th round, where he appeared fatigued slightly, while Mosley unloaded everything he had. This bout underscores the importance of weight classes. A fighter who is an explosive puncher at light and welterweight was reduced to a mere mortal that was adequately neutralized by a larger, more defensive opponent. Both fighters enjoyed successful careers afterwards, with Mosley moving back down to 147 and later capturing another world title, while Winky defeated Mosley in a rematch and went on to secure another significant fight against Trinidad, which he completely dominated. Winky will be remembered as one of the greatest super welterweights of all time. He took the challenging path, was often avoided, built his reputation, and seized the opportunities that came his way.